Coming to you from the great state of Wisconsin, this is a CS27 Studios production. You're listening to the Binary Brothers Podcast featuring Ryan and Clay. It's time now to open your ears and prepare your mind because life's too short to be constrained in black and white. So without further ado, here are your hosts, Ryan and Clay.
Hello, and welcome to episode 13 of the Binary Brothers. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan, and with me, as always, is my good friend, Clay.
Yeah, that's me.
There he is. Yeah, so today, we're going to have a pretty awesome episode for you guys. Talking about some stuff. In particular, artificial intelligence, something Google just recently announced that kind of deals with that. And, just that general idea.
Earlier this month. And their I.O. thing.
Yeah, Google I.O. happened, so they announced some random things, and people were up in arms about one of these things in particular, and we'll talk a little bit about that.
I mean, they just kind of snuck it in.
Yeah, it was really weird because it was something you honestly could have missed if you didn't really pay attention. Some of the supercuts I watched, just pretty much glossed over it.
Yep, but we won't.
We will not. We refuse.
Dig into it. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be duplexy?
Duplex?
No, it sounded better in my head.
Does that work? It doesn't. I don't know if it works.
I don't think it does, but I'm not editing it out because that's not something we do on this show.
That's not what we do. We don't edit. For our longtime fans, you already know. Yeah. You get the show raw.
Yep. This isn't superficial stuff here. This is the way it's meant to be. This is life.
We like to give it to you straight.
Yep.
But if you're not into that, then I guess please keep listening anyways. Maybe we'll do something else you like.
Probably.
Something. We do things on the show. We do a lot of things.
We do. We never know what we're going to do.
Well, we never know for sure what we're going to do.
I mean, we do know, but we don't know.
We have plans, but we're not. They're not concrete.
Yeah.
I'll see you there. I'll see you at another time.
Yeah. So
yeah. Speaking of things that we like to do, we do a lot of things here. Let's get started. We like to kind of warm you guys up to us and warm ourselves up to the show with a couple little segments here.
Just to get you into our mindsets, see where we're coming from.
Yeah, how we're feeling.
Yeah.
This week in general. So Clay,
what up?
What are you stoked about, man?
Man, you know what I'm stoked about? Actually, I'm stoked about just this weather right now. It's pretty nice.
Right? It's a tad. At one point today, it was a tad too warm for me. Yeah, that was only because I've been parked my car in direct sunlight.
Oh.
And it's a black car.
And you have black interior, right?
And I have black leather interior.
Yeah.
So it's just rough in there. So I've learned my lesson. Park my car facing the other way.
Yeah.
Other than that, weather's good.
Weather's nice. Weather's nice.
Right?
Yeah.
We're gonna see more and more of those grills out there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I get to go golfing this time of year now. Go out, enjoy the landscapes and the outdoors. Walk around a little bit.
That's one of those things that I feel like when I think about it, I think to myself, I think I might enjoy golf, but then at the same time, I think I don't know. I just don't know. Yeah, I've thought about it, and I went to a driving range one time, which I know isn't a really good measurement of anything, but
no, I mean it's a good place. It's a place you need to go to start though.
Yeah,
just kind of understand. I feel like did you go by yourself?
No, I went with a couple buddies, but it was.
Do they know what they're doing?
They probably did, but I wasn't really getting coached up. I think
that's what I mean. Were they able to look at you and say, "Hey, you're looking pretty new to this whole game."
Pretty trash.
Yeah,
pretty trash right now. You're pretty JV at the whole golfing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did, but I didn't think they took the coaching opportunities.
Oh.
You got to take those coachable moments.
Yeah.
No matter what you're doing in life, if you got a moment to coach someone up, hey, by the way, stapler works better this way. You got to coach everyone up.
Yeah. I feel like we need to go to a driving range together one time.
I'd be down.
Because
I'd be down to go sometime.
I think I can give you just like nothing super coachable, but just kind of get you started in the right direction. And once you kind of do that and kind of just start understanding how to swing a golf club, because it's different than like a baseball swing, right?
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is I was basically swinging a baseball bat downward, and that just was not working for me.
Right. So once you kind of get that idea, I don't want to say it becomes easy, because golf is not easy at all, even if you're good at it.
Yeah, but everything is easier if you have an idea of what the hell you're doing. You
start enjoying it more, I should say.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's hard to explain, but it's it's something I like to do, because it at least gets me out of the house, and I mean, golf courses, especially if you go to better ones, are always nicely landscaped and everything. It's just nice, to
I
be
can
outdoors.
enjoy a good landscape.
So, yeah, for sure. So, like doing that. I actually just went golfing this week on Tuesday. I'm actually going again.
Nice.
I'm actually going again tomorrow morning. But Tuesday I took off work on Tuesday, and I went golfing. But the main reason I took off was because I went over to Madison to go watch a concert.
Ooh, who'd you see?
Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh, man. I was just listening to them the other day, and I thought to myself, I wish Queens of the Stone Age was playing somewhere soon, and I missed it.
Yeah, they were in Milwaukee. They were in the Goodland back, I think, last fall. They were playing at, I think, like the Rave or Eagles Ballroom, one of the two.
Yeah, I get their emails all the time, so
but I didn't go to that one because I just don't like that venue. But we've talked about this, and I probably I could have gone to like on the balcony and had a good time, but so I went to Madison to see him, and they were playing at this like soccer field, I guess I would say.
Oh, okay.
Like it's called like Breeze Stevens Field or something. I think this is like the first year they're doing concerts at that venue.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's gonna last because unfortunately, so like Queens of the Stone Age put on a good show, but they ended very abruptly. They didn't do an encore or anything because they were getting like noise complaints and stuff, and it just didn't go well.
Yeah.
So it was disappointing in the way it ended, like that concert, but for the most part I enjoyed it. I'd like to see him again. Because I feel like it could have been, even though it was, I liked the concert, it was good. It kind of left with a bad taste a little bit, and
right.
I'm not really blaming the band at all for that. It's just the way it was.
Right, it's just the way it worked out.
But I'd like to see him again and hopefully get like the full experience. Yeah. But
I looked at the field, and it's like,
yeah, it's weird. They have, it has artificial turf and stuff, and
oh, does it? This picture must be super old then, because it looks pretty worn down. If you're
looking at the Google, if you're looking at the Google Maps overhead view, it's gonna be like dirt or whatever.
Yeah, they turfed it out.
Yeah,
I love a good turf.
Yeah,
you've got a good turf. I know, like football season started officially. We played our first game.
Oh yeah.
So we went to a field that was a high school's field in Chicago, and they had like the medium, all right turf. Like it's not like the bad turf where it's concrete basically, but it's not like the super long, good, lush.
So it's like the Carroll University.
Turf. Yeah, it's turf. Like Carroll's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know if they've updated it yet, or since we played on it.
I don't know. It's pretty damn expensive to do turf.
Yeah. Well, they were one of the first. They were one of the first places, kind of in this area, to get the turf. like way back when. So I mean, they have like a very old version of that turf.
So they've probably been saving up for that.
Perhaps
sweet new turf.
Maybe. I mean, they've been doing other things on their campus using money.
Nothing.
No.
Nope.
They don't update anything else.
Absolutely nothing else. They've just been saving loads and loads of money so they can get sweet orange turf.
Sweet orange turf. God, that would be awful. It'd be so bad.
Like, when I watch college games where they have colored turf fields, I look at it and I think it's cool for probably a couple minutes.
Right.
And then I'm like, I'm kind of over the whole colored turf thing at this point.
It was big for a year or two, like when it was first put in for like Boise State.
Yeah.
And then Eastern Washington did like red turf.
Yeah.
Like it was big for a few years there, but now nobody really cares anymore. Like the fad kind of just died out.
Yeah, it's like that. We've had enough of this. This was a good experiment.
This was an experiment that we're not sure really did anything.
It wasn't good. It wasn't bad.
It was just it.
It just happened to people.
Time passed it by. But yeah, so I've been listening to a lot of Queens of the Stone Age lately, kind of gearing up for that concert. Yeah. So that's kind of what I've been listening to. That was kind of what I was stoked for. Now I'm kind of winding down, but I'm stoked for the whole golfing season and stuff. So what about you?
So I am pretty stoked that the season has officially started, like I mentioned.
Yeah. Did you guys win?
So no, we did not win.
What?
Yeah.
What are you doing out there?
I don't know. To be honest, I just honestly don't know. It's one of those things where it's like you gotta kind of just evaluate. We didn't have film for this game, so it's a little bit harder to evaluate kind of what happened. But I think we kind of just went out there and didn't execute everything. We've got we've got plenty of new guys on offense, in particular, and we got new guys on defense too. But I think it came down to like being the first game of the season and whatever else. We kind of just didn't execute as well as we should have. So,
what kind of system do you guys run?
We run like a zone spread offense.
We do schoolyard.
Yep.
Draw plays in the dirt.
Yep. Pretty much. Just get out there and do whatever we want. No, we run a lot of zone, and then I don't really know like passing wise what you call stuff necessarily, but
we do the tree routes.
We do the tree.
Yeah.
There's a tree, and it's in the corner of the field, and if you run towards it, maybe a guy will throw you the ball.
Maybe.
We'll turn out well. But it is good to, get out after, a few weeks of just hitting each other, hit your new and old teammates and all that, and get to give it a go against someone else. So
yeah,
that's good, and I'm excited. It was a non-league game, but which it still matters from the standpoint of things. If we ever get into like a national tournament or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, but either way, it's good to get out there, hit some other people, hit some new people,
right?
And I don't know, just get some of that experience under our belt, and hopefully we'll be able to come back and do good things in the league this year. So I'm excited for that.
Okay. Cool. Do you guys do the national anthem for your games?
We do. We did not at the game that we played, but that was because it was neither one of our fields. Like it was.
Oh, it was just
and we didn't have like access to anything, and I don't even know if the school had like a PA system in general. So yeah, we didn't do an anthem, which was super weird. Like I remember standing on the sideline and kind of waiting for captains to get called out. Captains got called out, and we go out there and do the toss and all the stuff, and then suddenly it's all like, all right, let's get the people lined up, and
let's
I'm like,
go.
What about America?
What about America?
But yeah, no, we did not have the anthem. We normally do though at like all of our regular games.
Okay.
So That's the thing. But we did not. Also, on the listening front, because you had a twofer. You had a little bit. You did yours together. I've been listening today, in particular, to A$AP Rocky's new album.
A$AP Rocky's.
A$AP Rocky.
At A$AP Rocky. Okay, singular.
One singular Rocky. It's his new album called Testing. So he's been teasing this album for a while, on his Instagram and whatever, and he's had a couple singles off of it come out. I actually think, really looking at the track list, it's really only one, and that one is technically doesn't even count because the track that's on here is the remix of the single that came out before. But I've gotten through half of the album. I enjoy A$AP Rocky. When the single came out, I was like, I'm excited for the new album to come out, and with this first half of the album, he hasn't disappointed. So,
all right.
If you're an A$AP Rocky fan, if you're a rap fan, A$AP Rocky is, one of the best in the game, in my opinion. He's not the same as a lot of other, like, there's a lot of people follow trends in every genre of music, but I feel like in rap especially, there's a lot of trends with, a certain, people call it mumble rap.
Oh, the mumble rap.
Mumble rap or rhythmic rap. People like I enjoy Migos, but like they are like rhythmic rappers, and there's other people where it's like I can get into a song, but there's a lot of that, and it's when I hear someone who's not that style of rap, it's always kind of refreshing and kind of a throwback to before that style of rap got popular over the last few years.
Yeah.
So this is one of those where that's not his style of rap, and I love A$AP Mob. I like all the guys on there when they come out with like a group album. It's always good. So Rocky Testing. Listen to it.
Would you say the test? So the test has passed, basically.
The test has passed.
Okay.
Thus far, the test has passed.
It's passed QA.
It's past QA.
Past unit tests.
We skipped the unit tests.
Okay.
And
naturally.
Of course, because we don't have time.
Right.
So
we don't have the budget for that.
We don't have the budget for unit tests. Just don't be ridiculous. And it's,
trying to run a business here.
We've scheduled it to release at 8:30 tomorrow morning. So, which is real life. I have a real life work release happening 8:30 tomorrow morning.
On Memorial Day weekend.
Oh yeah. It's just gonna go. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be great.
Okay.
I'm confident. I love it.
That makes one of us.
Well, maybe if you were involved in what's being released,
I've heard all I needed to hear about this, and I am not confident.
You're not confident?
It's a release on a weekend. That's all I need to hear. It's all I need to be involved in.
It's funny because we were like, we plan all your releases, and every time we're considering doing a release, it's like, let's not release on a Friday night.
Right.
Because if something goes wrong, who's going to pay attention all weekend?
Right.
Better to release on a Monday night and have any issues handled by whoever's hanging around for the rest of the week.
I'm all about Tuesday mornings.
Yeah.
Because you can spend Monday preparing for the release.
Oh yeah,
doing all that stuff, getting it ready.
Practice releases.
Yeah, doing final checks because doing it Mondays, it's like people are kind of still coming in from the weekend.
The last thing you want to get slapped in the face with on a Monday, is a messed up release.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, you don't even necessarily want to deal with any just easy to handle support tickets that come in. Right. On a Monday, a lot of people just kind of want to come in, get going for the week.
Just kind of get a smooth start to the week, But Tuesday hits, you do the release, and then if anything does go wrong, you have Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to fix things, right? You still have most of the week.
Yeah.
So
this is the dev life, people. If you're not aware,
this is how you do it, but this is not how it's done.
Yeah, this is not.
Unfortunately.
Isn't that the truth?
It's it.
So what should we do? Well, we should do this. All right, but what are we actually going to do? Well, we're going to do this other thing that gets the job done, but maybe isn't the best.
Yeah.
Speaking of people getting jobs done, Google's done one hell of a job with this duplex.
They've done a job. They've done something.
They definitely did something. They've got something on their hands here that is very interesting. It's scary to a few people. Elon Musk, especially. He's a big, anti.
He's all about AI taking over the world.
Anti-AI. He's anti-AI, but
sort of
pro automation. Now that the Model 3 line's back up.
Yeah. I don't think he's necessarily against AI. I think he's just of the mindset that we have to be smart with AI.
Yeah, I think, you're right. He seems like he's anti-AI, but what his message really is that we need to be doing this right, and we need to be careful with, how we're doing this stuff, because people are kind of, taking off. Your scientists spent so much time thinking about whether they could, they didn't stop and think about whether they should. And that's true. It's a direct quote from Elon Musk.
Which he stole from Wayne Gretzky.
But yeah, it's one of those things where we do kind of have to be careful with what we're doing, and I don't know, be cognitive about the impact of everything we're doing. So Duplex, what is it, you ask?
It's an update to Google Assistant, so similar to like Siri on iOS devices or Alexa on Amazon devices. This is just kind of an update for Google Assistant.
Right. It's basically like a new feature set. So they're always adding new things. Other things they announced at I/O were like custom routines. They had classic routines that you could run where you could say the phrase, which I'm not going to say right now because it's going to set off all my devices and our listeners' devices if they're playing.
We're going to be civilized here.
We're not going to say the phrase, but you can say the phrase. And before they had prepackaged routines like "Good morning," and so you could tell it to tell you your weather and your traffic and all that and whatnot. And so they announced the ability to customize what things happen outside of a small subset. So you can basically type in any instruction that you could say to it, and it would be able to complete that, task by task. So yeah, Google Duplex is an expansion of Google Assistant, and it's pretty interesting. It's the general idea, the use case that they kind of showed right away was, you say the phrase, you're on your way out of the door in the morning or sometime, and you don't have time to be doing something, to make a call, to make an appointment for yourself. So you say the phrase and you say, make me a hair appointment, an appointment for a haircut. And, it may or may not know your favorite salon. I don't know how, or your barbershop. I don't know how that part of it works for sure. I don't know if you had to specify, but
I assumed that was specified. They just didn't show that.
Yeah. So you say, hey, make me an appointment for a haircut next week, Thursday, between 10 and 2, right? And, Assistant has had the ability for a little while here to, Assistant and Home have had ability to, make phone calls over the internet for a little while here. And so it's going to make that call for you. So it makes the call, and then it goes through a full conversation with the person on the other end to schedule the whole appointment.
Yeah. But you're not like listening in on the call. You can't hear this call. This is just kind of going on in the background.
No, yeah, it's just imagine you tell it to do something, and it says, "Okay, I'm going to do that now." and it just does it all over, on Google servers, whatever, and you have no interaction.
Right.
The whole idea is that you're going to say it and then go do something else. Like you're on your way out of the door, or you're going to do something. You just want to get it to be like a real person assistant and make, a reservation for you, whether it's for a haircut or for a restaurant or something.
Right. So that kind of begs the question, so this isn't out yet, right? Is this coming to Android P or do we know?
It's not out yet.
Or does it even have a release date?
I don't think it necessarily even has a release date.
Okay.
It was kind of just the thing that they were showing off. It was prototype, and there's been rumors. I've seen a couple things of maybe they faked right. The video or whatever. But either way, even if they faked it, they filled in some of that stuff. That is their goal. Like Google Duplex, their goal with Google Duplex is to make it work that way.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So basically, what they've got to be doing is they're making the phone call. I guess with your phone. I don't
know.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like it's not using your phone, right?
No, yeah. So the way that Google Assistant calls work now, I've made calls over my Google Home.
I've never used it to actually. I rarely use my Google Assistant.
Oh yeah, so I use it fairly often, and for you and anyone else who's been listening, I'm sure I've mentioned my Google Homes before because I've got one in the living room, I've got one in the kitchen.
They're everywhere.
I plan on having one downstairs. I have one in the bedroom. It's one of those things where it's like I'm that person that is not afraid to have a bunch of things that are potentially listening to me all the time.
Oh, they're not potentially listening to you.
They are definitely listening. If you go on your Google history, because you can go, for anyone who doesn't know this, you can go on and see literally everything that Google has on you. You can download it all, you can see. And so I can go on and view my history of my voice requests. And you can tell, because it has a little bit of static before, it trims it, but it has a little bit of static before you say the phrase. And then it has just a tiny bit of recording after. So it's constantly listening and throwing away that data.
Well, how do you think they built this Google Duplex technology? How do you think they built the algorithms to do this whole conversation?
So you think
AI, right?
You think they're not trashing that data just immediately, but they're doing it through machine learning to see how how people actually interact?
Yeah, they're definitely doing that. They have to be.
I bet that's in some clause somewhere, when you agree to use it.
Oh, it's somewhere.
Well, that's interesting. I wonder how many people...
It's somewhere.
It still can't read.
Oh, crap. We forgot to, before we even started doing this episode and getting into it, we forgot to tell people that we're updating our privacy policy.
Oh, yeah. By the way, everyone, we're updating our privacy policy.
Sorry.
You're going to have to go to www.privacypolicy.org/binarybrothers.
No, I'd assume it would be on our domain.
Oh, okay.
We have binarybrotherspodcast.com. That is our domain. You can go there. Which reminds me, I need to update it.
Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
Everyone can blame it on me. This is my fault entirely.
Well, here's the deal: is I have access to the code as well.
Oh yeah, you do. So it's not my fault entirely.
I'm not going to lie to you.
I mean, it is my fault.
The me meaning to talk to you has been. I need to get a tutorial real quick.
Oh. Yeah, so, I probably could have done some documentation.
Here's the deal, man.
I didn't.
It's fine. We've got all the way up to episode 4 on the website right
all the way up to episode 4.
All the way to episode 4. We've got all of our 2017 episodes.
Yeah.
On there,
Yeah, we'll get 2018 updated.
So yeah, I wonder, when you think about it, how many people would buy, these virtual assistants, the Alexas, the Homes, the HomePod, because I think HomePod has Siri on it and whatnot. But how concerned would people be if they new explicitly or if it's said for sure, like we are constantly listening to everything you say, and we're going to use that data for something. We might not store it for forever, but we're going to run it through an algorithm to help teach our AI how to be a person.
Well, that's what the whole Google reCAPTCHA is doing too. You know how you have to click on, like it shows you a picture and it says, hey, click on all the ones that have a traffic cone in it.
Yeah.
Or something. It's basically, you're basically helping it teach its, image recognition.
Yeah, so that's funny because you're helping teach its image recognition, but then on top of that, I've heard that the way those things actually work is like by tracking your movements.
Yeah, it does for sure.
Okay,
but
because it doesn't, like, you don't necessarily 100% accurately have to choose all the right images. It's more about, did you move like a human or did you go sequentially through the boxes?
Yeah, and
try and figure it out.
Right. No, it definitely does that. The way they're able to check to see if you're a bot or a human basically is, they track your movements throughout. It depends. There's a couple different versions of the reCAPTCHA, and you can either and depending on the one you choose, there's like an invisible one, then there's a more upfront one, and it'll track your, like, the mouse movement or kind of how you fill out whatever form it is. That coupled with a couple other things. Obviously, none of this stuff has really been disclosed by Google, because that would be dumb. But yeah, it'll track your movements through that whole image recognition thing. But the side effect of that is you're also helping it. You're helping their systems learn. Because I mean, what better way to have it go through machine learning than using people, right?
Right.
Like basically a free group of hundreds, millions of people or whatever it is.
Yeah, and that's one of those things, like, people don't really realize when you use something like Google Lens or any other type of image recognition, like, someone had to train that in some way. Like there's potentially some person in a room somewhere who was like, here's a batch of pictures and I'm going to teach this thing what a dog is as opposed to a cow. Or just like, here's a bunch of images. I'm going to tell this thing, I have to say, yes thing, this is a cow. Or no thing, this is not a cow, to help, teach it. And it's like, there's no better way to get that data than to make it part of a process that you need to do just in general. The defense, the thing about those CAPTCHAs is that it's supposed to be, stopping people from writing bots that just do stuff. But a really awesome side effect for these companies is, like you said, it's basically you're teaching your AI for free.
Right. And that, I mean, that just, it makes sense. Why not do that, right?
Yeah.
Why not try and make whatever, creation you have, in this case a reCAPTCHA, be as versatile and do, as many things for you as it possibly could.
Right.
And obviously Google has a lot of, really smart people working there, right? So they're thinking of these things all the time. How can we maximize the use of this new thing? How can we maximize the use of Google Duplex, right? Yeah. They will use Google Duplex for, they're going to track your appointments or whatever you're doing, like, and possibly even, use that data to say, hey, this place, this company is getting, or this salon is getting, so many more, appointments set up for, a certain day or whatever, and maybe use that to sell to that company or something,
Right. And it's like, I'm one who's like, I bought in entirely to the Google ecosystem. And so it's like, they've got so much data on me that they're probably figuring out things about me, like correlations through all the stuff they have that I don't even know about myself. Like, you may not realize that, once a month you get a hankering to, go to Culver's. So like, just Googling the fact that, like, what time is Culver's open, or Googling a Culver's once a month, tells Google, they have that piece of data that says, this type of person of, this race, age, sex, whatever, might be inclined to do this in this area at the time.
You know what I'm gonna bet is next time you have a Google Home probably in the room you're in right now.
I've got my phone next to me.
Okay, well, you have your phone, I guess.
Enough, but I've got a Google Home just outside.
So you're probably gonna see somewhere next time you look in your phone or whatever, or your or Google Maps or whatever, it'll probably suggest Culver's for you because of you just talking about it now.
Because we were just talking about
Next time you're like, you know what, where should we get food? It's gonna be like, hey, you want to go to Culver's? I hear you like Culver's.
Right. You just do food?
I never even searched for that. Yeah, but I heard you talking about it. Oh, right. Great.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, I guess, but also stop.
Please stop.
Please
It's one of the things I hate. They changed up Google Now on the phone.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate it.
Oh, do you?
I loathe it so much. I can't swipe things away anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I can't swipe things away anymore. And the amount of stuff, and it's filled with just crap that I don't care about, but I've probably talked about.
Yeah.
And I just want to swipe it away, and I can't. I think that's the gist of my issue with it.
Is that you want to be able to swipe it away, which trains it that you don't like it. But I mean, they do have the option to say I'm not interested.
Right,
in this.
But that's an extra step.
That's extra. That's more cognitive load than just saying oh, I don't really care about this thing. Yeah.
Now I have one in here about Leonardo DiCaprio. Actually, that's a trending one, so that's not necessarily something I've talked about. But it's these trending things that I really just don't care about. It's full of just useless crap to me. Honestly, the only reason I ever looked at Google Now, and this is all personal, everyone's going to have different opinions or different uses for this thing. And I get why they try and make this as universal as possible.
Yeah.
But honestly, the only reason I use Google Now is for weather. It has that right at the top, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then essentially just basically just sports scores and stuff. That's all I use it for. Or
it is the
want to use it for.
Way. So you have just Google Now.
Yeah, whatever you swipe to get that screen on the left-hand side there?
Yeah.
You swipe right to go left.
Swipe right.
Whatever it is.
That's what I was just talking to a friend about this. When people say swipe right, I always think to myself, are you talking about
you want to go to the left screen, or do you want to go to the right screen, or do you want to?
I don't know why I have that problem, but
no, I get it. I think about that sometimes too.
Yes, you swipe right to get to the left screen.
Yeah, it's weird.
Correct.
Right.
Yes. No, left.
No, left.
So, yeah, I mean, that's one of those things you would think, I don't know who made that decision at Google, but you would think through their machine learning and whatnot that, I mean, did they track enough people and how they use Google Now and say swiping stuff away isn't that convenient? Because I feel like that's hard for me to believe. I don't.
I think they did it, and this comes back to the whole trying to learn more about you. So you have a couple different options for why you don't want to see that story anymore.
Yeah.
So, when you just swipe it away, they don't really know. They don't know why. They just know that you did.
Yeah, they get more granular reporting.
Yeah, they get more data on you, is what they're doing.
More data. What do I have? I'm not interested. Oh yeah, sure enough, I could just hide this story.
Yeah,
which just gets rid of it. Or I can say I'm not interested in PlayStation 4.
Right. So basically, hide story was pretty much all they were getting before. Now they have. Right. Are you interested in PlayStation 4, or are you not interested in the web? Yeah, the source of it. Yeah. So I don't know. Ugh, so gross to me. So gross to me now, because I feel whenever I wipe stuff away, I'm like, oh, this is clean now. I have only what I need, and then it refreshes and it just brings up more crap. I'm like, no, no.
Yeah. I think I interact with the articles enough, I guess, and whatever other data they have on me that most of the stuff on here ends up being fine. Every once in a while I get, I Googled someone randomly.
Right.
Because I needed some piece of information on them, and suddenly it thinks I'm super interested in Cardi B.
Yeah, right. It's like, who was that one person in that one movie way back when?
And it's like, no.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to know everything about the third kid from Goonies. Like,
yeah. I don't actually care to know more about him. I just wanted to know what that person's name was.
Right.
Yeah. Ugh.
So they're obviously they've used this data to make Google Duplex, and it's the really cool thing about it is that it makes the call, and it does it. That's what we were talking about. Like it makes the call over IP, so it's VoIP. So when I use it, it originally only ever came up as a restricted number or whatever, like it didn't come up as an actual phone number, but now they have that you can kind of have like phone number spoofing on it. So like I have it set up, I got a text message and entered a code or whatever, and so now when I make calls and Google Home recognizes my voice, it shows up as my phone number on other people's phones, which is convenient. But
right, yeah, because I wouldn't answer it if you called me, if you did that to me.
It said restricted, right? Yeah.
I don't answer. I hate talking on my phone to begin with, and if it's a number I don't recognize, I'm not even answering it.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had my mom and my wife both reject calls from me. when
Screw this guy in particular.
Like, who's this guy? But no, so it makes a call, voice over IP, and it just starts a conversation. Like, it's crazy. I'll post a video of it to our pages and stuff, but it makes this call and it listens to the person say like, oh, hi, such and such hair salon, how can I help you? And it's these particular things that really struck me, is that it put in superhuman like pauses. And
well, not really superhuman, it's just human,
regular human. Yes. I see how I messed up there.
That's all right. So, I got you.
They put in these like human responses, or these human mannerisms, where the lady answers the phone and says, "What can I do for you?" And the first thing the assistant does is say, "I'm looking to book an appointment for a client of mine." Those things that they added in there in that conversation is things that it's learned from listening to people's regular conversations and all that. And it makes it seem superhuman, not in a powerful way.
Right.
But it makes it seem like very human. It's very human-like, and it just... You honestly couldn't... Natural. And it's very hard to tell. There's in a couple of the demos, or one at least, you could maybe tell that it was a computer kind of responding to your stuff, but for the most part, it added in those human mannerisms, and it responded in a way that people would typically respond in. It was very impressive.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, essentially, you could say it passed the Turing test, which is, I mean, that's an impressive feat in itself, right?
Right. And for anyone who doesn't know, the Turing test is, it's test. Alan Turing, I think it was. Yeah. It's the guy he's the guy who the movie The Imitation Game was based off of, right?
I've never seen the movie. I know it has Cumberbatch and Keira Knightley in it, but I've not seen it. It's on Netflix, and I've been meaning to watch it. I just haven't. Stop bugging me about it, Ryan.
Okay, God. So here's the deal. This is the last time I'm going to mention
one time,
you should
just
watch
now.
The Imitation Game. But yeah, so it's Alan Turing, and he had a really huge role in like code breaking in World War II and everything, and so he eventually, there's this test, and the idea of the test is to make a robot or human or algorithm something that can interact with a human in a way that the human being couldn't tell that it was talking to this robot or to a program or whatever. So, and I feel like you're right. Like with Google Duplex, with the demos they did, if they're real, they've kind of passed that, because there's, like I said, there were those couple little stutters, but a person on the other end of the phone is not going to know that they're talking to an AI, or they're talking to a program that's just trying to make an appointment for a person who, doesn't have the time, or decides they don't have the time, or whatever,
Right. And we as consumers, I guess, maybe, people, non-business owners.
Right.
Whenever we receive calls from businesses, or robocalls, as we like to say, right? We can pretty much tell it's, not a human on the other end.
Oh yeah.
Like there's been plenty of times where you receive it and you're like, yep, I'm not talking to a human, I'm hanging up, right?
Never mind.
Even if it is a human voice, like a pre-recorded message, right? It's like, yep, we know that's a human voice or an actual human, but we know it's a recording. We know it's not actually a person.
It's always like this weird tone that they speak with, because it's canned responses.
Right.
The telltale of you answer the phone and it takes a couple seconds.
Hello.
After you say hi before someone says hello.
Hello.
Shut up. No one says hello that enthusiastically.
You know what the worst part is, though? This is why I don't answer the phone unless I actually know the number, especially with the phone I have right now. It's because I can't hang up my phone. I literally can't hang up on calls with my phone.
Why? What did you do?
This has been an issue for a bit. This has been an issue since the phone got basically carried off the table in a river of beer.
Beer river, yeah.
Yeah, if you remember from a couple episodes ago. That was one of our earlier episodes, probably, right?
That might have been episode 1.
It could have been our first. But yeah, so ever since then, or I think that's one of the reasons that caused it. But so when you hold the phone up to your ear, the screen turns off, or the display turns off, so you don't basically touch anything, and that's a normal feature, right? Yeah. But then when you pull it away, you should be able to interact with it with if you have to use the numpad, or if it's
or if the call is boring and you want to go on Instagram.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, so my phone doesn't make the display turn on again. It doesn't, so I can't.
It doesn't recognize that?
Yeah. It recognizes when I bring it up to my my ear, but it doesn't recognize when I take it off or whatever.
Yeah.
So I can't see the hang up button. I can't do the numpad, anything. So it's press 1 for English. I'm I can't.
Nope,
literally can't.
I'm Spanish today.
I guess Espanol.
There's nothing I can do here.
Yeah. So
couldn't even make the choice.
I don't even think I can turn off my phone. I can't even turn it off to end the call. I can't do anything. So it's if I call my parents or whatever, I'm kind of just sitting there. I'm please hang up, please. At the end,
you need to be guys, the mom. You hang up.
You do it. You gotta take the initiative and do it. Grow up and do it.
I can't do everything.
I literally can't do everything for you. Get out of my house. But yeah, so that's a struggle for me.
That's a rough one. But with Google Duplex,
one of these days that will no longer be an issue for me.
Maybe you get the Pixel 3.
Maybe. We'll see.
Okay. I'm not pushing. I'm not pushing. I'm not going to.
Well, it hasn't even been released yet, or not released, but unveiled yet.
Oh no, it hasn't even.
Yeah, so I can't just do like I did with the Model 3 and reserve a Pixel 3 before it gets unveiled.
Yeah.
I mean, I can only do that once in a lifetime.
You could do 2.
Nope, that's a rule. It's pretty much a rule.
That's a one-time?
Yeah, it's a one-time thing.
I think there's only been one time I've bought a phone right away, and that was the last phone that I had. and it lasted me a long time, that Nexus 6P. Like I've never ordered a phone, like pre-ordered a phone, and that's the only one I pre-ordered, and I was not disappointed.
Well then,
good things could be different. Yeah, so people that was one of people's biggest concerns with Duplex when it first came out, when they did this announcement, is that people were not going to know that they were talking to a machine, and they thought, well, that's not right.
Do you want to know?
Like, I don't know. Like, I could see why people might want to know, but in the situation that we're talking about using it for, what difference does it make to, the clerk working at the store, whoever's making the appointments, the receptionist, any of that stuff? Like, what difference does it make to that person, whether they're talking to an assistant or an actual person?
Right.
Like they wouldn't be mad if they were talking to someone's actual assistant. Right. So, I get the idea of being like forthcoming with a person, but me personally, like, who cares that you're talking to a machine? At the end of the day, the phone call is to achieve some goal.
Yeah. Yeah, and in terms of this case, businesses have been, giving us consumers robocalls, or essentially AI calls, I guess. Not really.
Right.
For a long time now, and this is kind of just essentially just returning the favor.
Yeah.
So like they can't be mad about this. But if this, if Google Duplex starts getting used for other things, right? Like, please call, mom or whatever and tell her happy birthday, right?
That's super funny because people came out with, spoof videos of, here's call my girlfriend and break up with her. Call my girlfriend and break up with her, tell her she can pick up her stuff next week between this time and this time. And it was just like a hilarious video. And it's like, who knows? Because, if they open up some sort of API for Duplex where, you can say, I want a program for this certain situation, be a human in this situation. That could be our future. You could legitimately one day say, hey, break up with my girlfriend.
but at the same time, like it would still be using its own voice, right?
Right.
So I hope your girlfriend or your mom or whatever would recognize that it's not you. Be like,
yeah,
oh, he's just using his dumb Google Assistant again, right?
He's using the assistant.
That jerk.
He said he's not going to make the dinner because he's working late, and I know damn well
he's playing video games.
But yeah,
eating chips, drinking Mountain Dew,
just living life,
playing video games, playing that darn Night Fort game.
Fork knife.
Yep, you got it. I was trying to do it in a way that like people would say if they don't actually know what they're talking about.
That's a whole thing. I said fork knife just now, and like that's a whole thing. Like that's a like people are starting to refer to Fortnite as fork knife.
Fork knife.
Like more than half the time.
I can believe it.
The game.
I can believe it.
And then I guess the developers put in like a fork knife food truck or something into the game at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I do that. I do that with things. Like I'll intentionally call things the wrong name just for giggles,
just for the jokes,
just for the lulz. I get it. I understand it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean that was one of people's big concerns. Another big concern was, I've heard people talk about this, and it's the fact that this is kind of putting, us being like the regular person, the person that makes the request, kind of putting the person on the other end of the phone, seeing them as like a lower class citizen or something, kind of like putting that stress or whatever on that person, where like, as we have the luxury because we're not the person working at the store or the receptionist or whoever the target of the call is, that person, actually has to spend their actual time and.
Well, but they're getting paid for that time, so.
Yeah,
that's a dumb. I don't agree with that.
That's my argument too. It's like, yeah, we're making a call and kind of taking advantage of the fact that, we're kind of saying we don't have time to do this, but this other person has to have time to placate my request. But at the same time, those people are getting paid to do that, and it's not like I don't make someone's getting paid to do it argument if I, spill food on the floor at a restaurant. Like, that's lame. I will pick up the food. But, like, this is a whole different case. This is just, like, this is their typical job. Like, taking a call, scheduling something for someone, that's what you do.
Right. I can see that argument being used in the case where it's not, person to a business interaction, and it's more like person to person.
Right. Or, like what we said, where it's like break up with my girl, call my parents and have the weekly conversation with them.
Yeah, I can see that argument playing into effect there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. But this isn't Google. Wait, yes, Google. I was gonna say Google Duplex, and then I confused myself, and then I was gonna say Dougal. Duplex.
The old
I was
Dougal?
like, wait a second, hold on. No, Google Duplex. I mean, it's not out for use yet. We don't really know when it's going to be out. They just basically demoed it. So there's a lot of questions, as we have kind of already asked here or presented.
Right.
But we don't know, and it's probably still going to be a long ways away, honestly. Before people actually start using it in at least those scenarios, I guess.
Right.
So, and they've done work on this for a couple of years, and they still probably have a couple more years of work and data collection of us. They've updated their privacy policy to take care of it. It's all good. But
yeah, I think they've already immediately responded, like you said, because they're still in the development stage, and said they're going to have it identify itself as a non-human assistant and whatnot. So they're super responsive to people's concerns about junk. But I think it's a pretty neat thing in general. It's impressive from an AI standpoint. If you could call someone, imagine the uses for some sort of hotline, right, where you could call, and instead of getting a fairly garbage, system where you have to it's a touch tone system and you have to press a button to navigate through it and do whatever, you could have an actual conversation with an AI that could direct your call, exactly where you need it to go right away, through a simple conversation, or any other type of option. If you think about some sort of support line where you need to call and get information about anything, and you can just get that through casual conversation like you would with a normal person, and that's pretty cool. Those are cool uses in and of themselves.
Yeah, I agree. It's it'll be really interesting to see how this kind of gets introduced into people's lives.
Yeah,
people just naturally are always hesitant for change and things, especially when it comes to non-human stuff.
Yeah,
we've just had a fascination with in the whole movie industries with AI and robots and everything. It's just kind of built into human nature, kind of to be a little bit cautious about this type of stuff. So, but it's pretty cool stuff though.
Yeah, as long as we help shape it, and people are involved in making the rules here, somewhat, not enough to hold it back, but enough to kind of make it useful without being harmful.
Yeah,
I think we'll be good, and we won't end up with Terminator.
Yeah, if we're smart about it.
Yeah, we can do it together.
Yeah. No guarantees, though.
Nope. That asterisk right there. You can. Do not blame the Binary Brothers. You've already signed the privacy policy.
Yep, we already disclosed. We changed.
Cannot blame us for any sort of AI uprising.
Yep.
Not our fault.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Binary Brothers Podcast. We can't wait for you to tune in next time. But until then, make sure to find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, and BinaryBrothersPodcast.com.